Hey there, it's BoardGameDave. Welcome to another Solo Play Sunday. Now, I will be the first to admit it's been a long time since my last Solo Play Sunday, over a year actually, but we are back with a bang today because I'm playing the brand new Moon Colony Bloodbath from Vaccarino, designer of Dominion. Now, this game is a shared deck building, engine losing, basically a survival game where we play as rival Moon Colony founders trying to survive through robot malfunctions and airlock leaks and pressure mishaps and all these horrible things that are plaguing us as we attempt to build these thriving colonies on the moon. So that's the theme of the game. It's a 1-to-5 player game with a very simple, easy to implement solo mode. So we'll be tackling that today for the first time. Now, this is a review copy that was sent to me from Rio Grande Games after I was introduced to this game by Kim from Board Game Buzz. So special shout out to Kim. And I've been absolutely loving my time with this. In fact, despite my wife and I just welcoming our firstborn baby girl to the world about 2 weeks ago, we've been making time for this game despite the sleeplessness and the chaos and the insane routine we have going on. We keep coming back to this game because it's so quick, it's so fun, and it's just compelling and really intriguing. So anyway, we have been loving Moon Colony Bloodbath, and I'm excited to give it a solo playthrough right now. Oh, speaking of babies, I should let you know that Solo Play Sundays are for charity. At the end of the game today, I'll donate 5 times my score to Baby to Baby, which is a nonprofit organization that provides necessities for children around the country. I'll talk more about Baby to Baby at the end of the video, but if you have a recommendation for a charity I should check out or a game I could play for the next Solo Play Sunday, please let me know in the comments down below. Anyways, let's get to it. All right, here we are, all set up for my first solo playthrough of Moon Colony Bloodbath ever. Now, I've got my 30 colonists here. I've got my 4 cards in my hand right there. I've got 4 money. I've got 4 apples. I've got my perks over here ready to add to the deck. And the solo game plays exactly the same as the multiplayer game with one tiny exception, and that is this loneliness card. So this will go into the starting deck, and every time this shows up, I lose 3 colonists per this icon I have and -3 per this icon I have in my tableau on my building. So right now I don't have that icon anywhere, but a lot of these buildings have these icons. So we'll keep that in mind as we kind of add them to the tableau. So beyond that, we've got 2 twists as usual to add into the deck. We'll take a look at these, study them closely. As it says in the rulebook, we have intensive farming, which is spending a supply to do the farm action, which is awesome. And then engineers says you may lose a building, which means you get the colonists, you get any lose benefits. So you can willfully choose to lose a building, putting it into your hand instead of the discard pile, which is very interesting. So anyways, those are our starting cards. We have 4 work cards, which is choosing one of these actions. And then of course, 2 trouble cards, which add the next event. So we'll shuffle those up and then we'll go ahead and get started. Now, if you don't know how to play this game, fear not, I will sort of teach things as we go. It's actually a very straightforward game. At the end of it, it's a deck building, deck losing, sort of tableau building, very chaotic game. And usually the game plays until somebody is eliminated, and then whoever has the most colonists left over wins. But in the solo game, we're just trying to get to the end of the game, which is event 13 up here. So anyway, I'll keep shuffling and then we can get started. All right, I'm all shuffled up and ready to go. I'll leave that deck right there and we'll go ahead and start flipping cards. I'll put my tableau up here as well. So here we go. I'll get these back stacked up. And the first card is a work card. All right, so I've been looking at my buildings and I think I know what I want to build first. The reactor costs me 6 money, gives me 6 colonists, and I pay 3 less money for buildings costing 6 or more, which is really pretty strong. So I'm gonna go ahead and play that for 6, except I don't have 6 money. So the first thing I'll do actually is I will work. I'm gonna mine for $4. I'll go ahead and put 5 in, put 1 out, and there we go. And now I've got 8 money. I'm ready to build the reactor on my next work action. There it is, work again. So second action is gonna be build, which is playing a card. So again, paying the cost, $6. And now I've got my reactor, which makes those expensive buildings a little bit cheaper. So super simple. Next one is another work. Okay, I promise I shuffled those fair and square. Let's see, another work. So now 3 less for buildings costing 6 or more. So I really want to get my organ banks built because then I can add a perk, which is one of these that applies only to me, even in a multiplayer game. So plus it lets me avoid accidents potentially, which are events that are coming up soon. So, but let's see, that would cost me still 4. So maybe I'm going to go ahead and mine again for some more money. let's go ahead and do that. So I've got $6. And then what's next? Engineers. You may lose a building. I don't want to do that, especially because this one has a pretty awful lost effect, which is adding radiation into the deck, which makes you lose a building or 3 colonists. So we do not want to lose the reactor, although down the road, eventually that probably will happen unless I win the game. So we'll go ahead and ignore that. And then spend a supply to farm. I don't have any boxes, supplies. That's something I can get by restocking, so we'll ignore that as well. Loneliness doesn't apply. We don't have any of those symbols as we said before. And now we're back to working, and I'll go ahead and build again. And this one, because it costs 6 or more, I get that $3 discount. So that's only $4 for organ banks. So spend $4 there. All right, and it says add a perk. Now these are my perks, right? And I can put whichever one I want. So draw a card, supply, 2 apples, 2 colonists, 2 money. Right now, I think with this whole engine building thing, I actually just want money so I can keep building more buildings. So we'll add that into the deck that goes right on the top, and it's immediately turned over, basically. So $2 for me. I'm back up to 4. And what do we have left in our deck? We have a trouble. Add the next event. Again, anything added goes right on top, and we'll just go ahead and flip it over and resolve it. Pay 1 apple per building you have. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and do that now. This is where if you don't have enough apples, you lose colonists. But thankfully, 2 apples for 2 buildings. Okay, there we go. And if you were able to pay the apples, you gain 2 colonists. It's an interesting card. So that's always the first event that shows up. These are always in order. They never change. So, and the last card should be another trouble. Yep, add the next event. So that goes onto the deck. We resolve it like so. Paperwork is drawing a card and then discarding 2 cards. So let's see what we have already. My helium mine gives me more stuff for mining. My tunnels lets me do a better restock action. And I just drew research, which is drawing a card. Now, that is pretty strong. I like that too. So we need to get rid of 2 of these though, and I like all 3. So what could be my next thing? None of these are very expensive, so I can't use my discount bonus anyway. This is actually pretty good. It's only $1. It makes my restock action a little stronger. I think I'm going to do... So which one do I want to keep? I'll keep the tunnels. Keep something nice and cheap. So I'll keep that here. Again, this is my hand. This is my tableau. We'll discard these 2 off to the side like that. Okay? All right, so that was the end of that first shuffle, first round, whatever, right? So nothing happens in between shuffles. We just shuffle and reset my little discs. Now, by the way, these quadrant things, I don't know how people use them. We started using them like this, starting in the center and then putting them where we want to indicate what action we're taking. But you can do whatever you like when you play the game on your own, of course. So anyway, you'll notice that each shuffle we add 2 events. That's the way it goes. And again, revealing event 13, putting it into the deck and then revealing it is how you can win the game. So that's what we're trying to do, is make it through 6, I suppose, shuffles, plus a little bit extra. So anyways, I think I'm fairly shuffle. We'll go ahead and put that there, and let's keep it going. I've got my perk, so I gained $2, which is pretty awesome. Boom. Next, work. Okay, so I've got my tunnels. I may as well go ahead and build this. So I'm going to spend $1 to build my tunnels. Now when I restock, I can get an additional 2 apples, an extra supply, or 2 money. And if you ever forget what restocking or farming does, it's printed right there for you. All right, next card, we've got loneliness. So again, still don't have that icon anywhere. We haven't seen it yet, so we'll ignore that one. I can spend a supply to farm. I don't have a supply, so we ignore that one. You see how quickly we resolve these turns, by the way. You may lose a building. Again, I'm not thinking I want to do that. Although, actually, hold on. I could lose my tunnels, right? It goes back into your hand, which is unique to that twist. And then I would get those 4 colonists. That actually doesn't seem like a bad idea. I could even actually lose my organ banks, get 5 colonists, this goes back in my hand, and every time I play, I can add a perk. That's actually even better, especially because it's cheaper with this discount. This is a very interesting twist. I've never played with this before. Not to mention, this lets me ignore accidents if I spend a supply. We haven't had any accidents. Those are events that come up specifically. So I think I'm going to do that. I'm going to lose this building, bring it back into my hand, and add 5 colonists onto my board. That's very curious. So back to my hand. There we go. Next is working, and that's exactly what I wanted, because now I can build, and for 3 less, right, $4, I can build this organ banks $4, and I can add a perk, which is, again, this is kind of an interesting recycling mechanism I've got here. So I don't have any cards. It might be nice to start getting some more cards. I think that's what I'm gonna go ahead and do. So let's add this to the deck. And again, I already said this before, but in a multiplayer game too, everyone's putting their perks into the same deck, but only the person whose perk it is gets the benefit. So that's gonna let me draw my first card into my hand, a trading post, okay? Every time you add a card to the progress deck, that can be perks, that could be other developments. So anytime you do that, get 2 money. That sounds really good, but I've played with that card before and it's not that strong. So, all right, paperwork. So we draw a card and discard 2 cards, and there's nothing to decide because I'm gonna draw it and then they both get discarded. So that'll make it very easy. Paperwork stinks. Add the next event. We'll go ahead and just go ahead and reveal that there. Add a robot is all we do there. This is the robot deck and they are all awful. Now this will go onto here, go ahead and resolve it, -5 colonists. And during the next work action, what does it say? During the next work this shuffle, buildings don't have abilities, including play. Interesting, okay. So what I like to do with that is first, get rid of my colonists, and then I like to leave the bottom of this showing, so we remember for the next work action. So we resolve the automatic doors, and there's our work. So again, buildings do not have abilities, so my restock doesn't get a bonus, etc. So what should we do? Well, I'm not gonna restock since I'm missing that benefit. I could farm and get more apples, which actually hunger is coming, remember? You know what's in the deck, and I'll owe 3 apples. So let's go ahead and farm and get those 4 apples, sort of build our storage there in the meantime. So that was the next work, and we can resolve that robot completely. And we're plowing through. Troubles at the next event, losing 4 colonists via the leak. So there we go. Next is another work, and then that last one should be another work unless I forgot to move one of these. I don't have any cards. Interesting. I only have $1 anyway, so what should I do? I think what I'll do maybe is, let's try a restock. I'll go ahead and put this here. Restock is get 2 supplies, and I'll put them both on the only card that really deals with supplies. And then for restocking, I can choose 2 apples, 1 box, or 2 money. I'll go ahead and do 2 money, because I do want to be doing some more building. And then this last work, oh, no, I was wrong. I must have not moved the work somewhere. I don't know where it was, but yeah, there's always gonna be 4 works in here, just so you know, 1, 2, 3, 4. Sometimes I don't remember to move my little disc, but it might've been research, I don't remember. That's okay. And the final one here is hunger. I owe 3 apples. Thankfully, I have 3 apples, so I'll go ahead and spend that. And then, since I paid all my colonists food, I get 2 back. And that was the end of the second shuffle. Back to shuffling. And we do it again. All right, and we're back for our third shuffle. By the way, if you hear any adorable cooing or fussing noises, that's my wonderful baby that my wife and I just had a few weeks ago. So she's hanging out with me for this playthrough. All right, first thing that's happening is another robot. Automatic doors, we lose 5 colonists. Again, buildings don't have effects for our next work action. So -5 colonists. By the way, quick check, I've got 25 here plus 15 more here. So I've got 40 colonists rolling around in my colony, just so you know. All right, my perk is $2, 1, 2. All right, next, trouble, add the next event. This is Temper's Flare, -2 colonists. And by the way, remember, I cannot ignore these events unless they say accident, which is the next one that'll go in. So this might be confusing. What if I should put this somewhere else? That's all right. This is our current deck, okay? So -2, I didn't do that yet. There we go, 1, 2. And the next card is work. Okay, now remember, oh, I forgot to do that. We do not activate building effects this card. So let's go for, I don't have any research effects, so let's go ahead and do that. Draw 2 cards, try to get some new buildings. I have got organ banks. Again, interesting. I don't really need duplicates for that, but And then farm, get more apples. Actually, we love this card. Every time we farm, we get 2 more apples, and you can spend apples as money. This is a huge card because it builds your apple engine and makes your apples cash, basically. So that'll be my next priority there. 5 credits, moon bucks. All right, but first we need to lose 4 colonists from the leak. There we go. Next is work, so I'll go ahead. I'm going to build spend exactly all my $5 to build the potato farm. Well, hold on. I could also build my organ banks again. Can spend a box to ignore it. And you know that card that lets you lose a building? If I lose this, I lose the boxes on it. So maybe I want to build a duplicate of this. Remember, it's 3 less. So I'll spend $4 and build the organ banks. Not to mention, I also get to add a perk. So I'll spend $4 and then I can add my third perk, which is incredible. Let's go for colonist. That's kind of the name of the game, right? Go ahead and add that to the deck and flip that over to get 2 colonists back. There we go. Next is an event. This is our first accident. So that's what the organ banks are for. I can spend a supply to ignore the accident. So I'll go ahead and do that. Spend a box. Don't have to lose my 3 colonists, which is great. All right, paperwork. Oh no, draw a card and discard both cards. So there goes my potato farm, which maybe I should have built that first because it's such a good card, but off to the discard pile. By the way, we still haven't seen those little icons, right? Yeah, the loneliness icon. So they're in there somewhere on those buildings. Add a robot is next. Let's go ahead and see what we've got. This is -7 colonists. You may spend a crate, a supply, to do any action. So that's interesting. Let's lose our 7 first. That's important. Okay, gotta follow the order of the card. There's 7, and then I can do this thing. Actually, I'm gonna go ahead and do that. I can spend a box to do an action. I'll restock. So I'm getting more than I paid. So spend 1 crate. I gain 2, 1, 2, and then I can use my ability here to get apples, a crate, or 2 money. Let's go for, did we do hunger yet already? I don't remember. I have a terrible memory. Let's go ahead and add apples. All right, just to kind of cover our bases there. All right, Dr. White draws a card, pay 1 less for building. So that stacks with my reactor. That is nice. I love a good discount engine. And every time I lose, oh, can you still see? Every time I lose this card, I may build. So again, using the engineering thing to recall this into my hand lets me build every time. That's really powerful. Oh, and there it is. You may lose a building, putting it into your hand instead of discard pile. So let's go ahead and bring back my organ banks. I get 5 colonists that come back to the Moon Colony, and that goes in my hand. I love it. All right, work. So let's do, I could organ banks again, or I can assembly line. I think this is my stronger move right now. Oh, but I only have $1. Shoot. Okay, that's not gonna work. So why don't we, let's go ahead and just mine. Just straight up get some money, okay? We need the cash. There's $4 there. 1, 2, 3, 4. All right, that's too bad I couldn't build that turn. We've got loneliness. Again, I don't see any of those icons. Flip another card. There's the hunger, right? Lose 1 apple per building you have. So that's 3 apples. And I gain 2 colonists. I'm at 21 on my board here. And we're working. So now that I've got the money, I am still tempted to do organ banks again, but probably assembly line makes more sense. So I'll spend $2. And from now on, I pay 1 less for buildings. 1, 2, on top of course, my reactor discount. So there's $2. And the last card of the deck is spend a crate to farm. I'll go ahead and do that. I've got 2 here, so I'll spend 1 to farm, which is gaining 4 apples. And that was the end of that shuffle. Let's shuffle it up, do it again. All right, and we're back for round 4. Let's go ahead and do it. I've got 1 card in my hand, ready to rock it. Here we go. Draw a card. Awesome. I've got my generator. Gives me 1 more crate when I restock. I love this. And when you play, I can do one of those other actions. Pretty strong. Pretty strong. I've got, oh, the robot companion. Okay. -7 colonists. That's pretty bad. Yeah. There's -7. I can spend a crate to do any action. Again, that restock thing is pretty strong. So I'll spend this to restock. I get 2 crates. And I can choose one of these other benefits. Let's go for, let's go for the money this time, right? 2 additional money from the tunnels for restocking. That'll let me build the generator next. Whoops. All right, 2 colonists for me. 1, 2. And then -4 from the league. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4. Back in the box. What do we got? Temper's Flare, -2. Okay, you can see how this thing starts to escalate a little bit, right? It gets more and more difficult. There's our first work. I could build the organ banks for 4, lets me add a perk, or I could build my generator, which lets me immediately do mining, farming, or research. Yeah, research would be good because I need more cards. Let's go ahead and build the generator for 4. Okay, I've got that new assembly line discount. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4. And then I'm going to choose to research, which is just drawing 2 cards. Oh, build. All right, greenhouses. Oh, this is such a good one. Your buildings with 1 or more crates on them don't require food for hunger. This is very, very powerful. And let's see, research, if you have 10 or more dollars, gain 2 colonists. That probably won't happen. So we'll leave those over there and flip another card. Another work. Okay, I have $1 to my name. So I actually can build the animal lab, but do I want to do that? Or whatever there, start building up my money. I think I just want to mine. Yeah, because I've got better buildings I want to work on. So let's mine for $4. That brings me up to a total of 5. And flip another card. All right, plus $2. I like it. Now I can build any of my buildings. Loneliness, we still have not ever seen that icon, right? Right, unless I'm missing something. I think we're fine. And now we work, okay. Let's see, probably I want to build. So with that hunger card coming up, we know it's in there, right? This will save me a lot of apples by putting crates on things. So we'll build. That's going to cost me just $3. $3 goes in. And then when I play it, I get to add a crate. So let's add a crate to maybe a different building. Even though there's no effect, it'll trigger the greenhouse benefit. So let's go ahead and put this, I'll just put on the greenhouse. All right. Automatic doors, -5 colonists. And again, no building effects, abilities, next work card. All right. So we'll leave that kind of showing there. You can spend a crate to farm. I like that. Sure. I'll go ahead and spend one from here. I'm going to farm for 4 apples. There we go. And I don't have any sort of farming benefit, which, by the way, they're color-coded. So I'm just looking for something green out there, basically. Right? Okay. Next. Trouble. I had the next event, and it is -3 colonists, although this is another accident, right? So a good chance for me to use my organ banks to ignore that accident. Great. Oh, there's another accident, and now I do not have any crates, so I have to lose those 3 colonists. And guess what? I only have 5. Now, once I hit 0, you'll see what happens is we start needing to lose our buildings out here to recall those colonists back to the base and lose them from there. You'll see what that happens shortly, I'm sure, or you'll see what happens. It's going to happen right now. So trouble, add the next event. Another accident. Again, crates would have helped me there, but I don't have any on my organ banks. So we're losing 3 colonists. I only have 2. So here's what happens. I owe an extra 1. So I need to look at all my buildings, right? I need to destroy at least 1, or in this case, just 1. And I'll recall those colonists and lose that additional 1. Now, some of them do have that lose benefit. So this is one that I'm actually okay losing. I'm going to get 4 colonists back, but spend the 1 I owe. So we'll get 3 back. In essence, that makes sense, right? And then I can build for when I lose my assembly line. So let's discard that. And then I think I'm ready to add my organ banks because, again, very strong card. That'll cost me only 4. Thankfully, I have exactly $4. And I'm adding a perk. So I've got, it seems like crates are going to be very important. So we'll put that here, flip this over, add a crate to the organ banks. There we are. Next, and we still have this robot that's affecting my next work, but we haven't had one yet. Paperwork is draw a card. And then here we are again with 2 cards. We discard both. There is a building card, by the way, that lets you ignore the paperwork event, which is really nice, but I don't have it. Hunger, okay? Pay 1 apple per building. But remember, greenhouses lets me ignore these 2. So 1, 2, 3, 4 apples get spent. And we're almost through this round. We've got a glitch, add a robot. This says -5, pass a card from your hand to the player to your left. Now, I don't have one. I'm not even sure what we would do for a solo game. I wonder if we discard? Maybe we ignore that. I'm actually not sure. But it doesn't matter, thankfully, since I don't have any cards. So we'll spend 5 colonists, and I don't have 5. So this time I'll show you how we normally do this, which is just recalling colonists and then spending the 5, right? Because we know, obviously, I'm short. So let's try Which one do I not need anymore? I like my restock ability for sure. Although this one gives me better flexibility. So this is actually a stronger card than this one. And this has more colonists. So I'm going to bring 5 back, right? And then I owe the 5. So we'll just ignore that, okay? All right, next card is the work. And again, this is no building effect for this card. So I'm ignoring all of those and just getting what's here. I could research and get some cards. I also have no money, so any of those would be helpful right now. Let's draw. This is a hard one. It might be good to just have money. Now, let's research. Let's see what kind of cards we can get. There we go. Telescope and clone banks. They both have that researching thing. Oh, look at this. Each time hunger happens, if you don't lose people, gain 3 people. Yes, and remember, you do gain 2 people when you feed everybody, but so far, I think I haven't been able to do that. I wonder if I missed adding colonists that one time earlier. Did I? I think I did. I'll go back and look, but I'm pretty sure I need 2 more people. I'll let you know in a second. And the final card is engineers. I can choose to lose a building. So I can lose this. I'm going to do that. Yeah, I'm going to lose the organ banks. I know that probably seems very, very silly, but I bring it back. I get my 5 colonists, plus I'll be able to add my last perk when I play it. So that's the end of that round. Let's go back and check my hunger card, and we'll start the next round. All right, we're ready for round 5, and I did go back and look. I did forget to add 2 colonists. So I'm going to go ahead and do that just for the integrity of the game, I suppose. And let me fan these out so you can see. I've got 10 colonists left, and I've got a few buildings down here in my hand, and 4 left in my tableau. Let's get into it. Here we go. We've got hunger. All right, right off the bat. So I owe just 2 apples. I can do that. 1, 2, 3. All right, next is add a robot with the glitch. And this is security robot. -1 colonist per building the player with the most buildings has. Well, that's me. So I owe 4, and I do have 4. They call these people. I call them colonists. So there's 4. Next is the accident, and I can ignore that. I'll go ahead and do that now. So spend my crate from there to ignore the accident. Although we know there's more than 1 in there, there's the other one. So spend 3. Can't avoid that. There's 1, 2. Back from 5. We've got another accident. Yeah, what is this? Events 6, 7, and 8. All identical accidents. So I spend 3. Those are my last 3 colonists on my base. We are withering away quickly. And now we have a leak. So we're about to lose 4 colonists. Let's go ahead and get rid of... I'm going to bring the tunnels... Oh, I was going to say bring it back, but this is getting discarded. Oh, it's such a good card. Maybe I'll do the organ banks, but then I have to build it and restock it. But I'm going to go ahead and try. So I'll recall this, or discard it, I should say. Yeah. Well, I have another one here, though. Let's go ahead and get rid of this. I don't know what to do. Yeah. I'll get rid of this for 5 colonists. This is a hard decision. It gets a little bit stressful toward the end here once you're sacrificing your buildings. All right, 2 colonists back. That is very helpful. We've got -2. There they go. Okay. Draw a card. That's always helpful. Trading posts. Each time you add a card to the progress deck, get 2 money. We saw that before. I'll leave it right off to the side here. Okay, there's still my hand over there. -7, that is brutal. And I can spend a crate to do any action, but that's after I lose my colonist. So let's, oh gosh, I didn't reset these. Let's get rid of tunnels, I suppose. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4. I need to lose 3 from there. 5, 6, 7. And I can spend a crate to do any action. Let's spend this to... We need money. We're going to go ahead and mine. So I get $4, and we power through. Okay. Remember, we're trying to get to event 13, and we're only at 9. So we've got a ways to go, and our colony is fast dwindling here. Work. Thank goodness. Now, can I build any of these things? Yeah, I can build my organ banks. That might be the ticket. Yep, let's do it again. We're going to build the organ banks for 4. I still have my discount. And it lets me add a perk. So my final perk here is my apples. So we'll put that to the top and resolve that for 2 more apples. Yep. Oh, this should be here. Okay. Next, 2 money. Okay, I like that. Bring this back here for my hand. We've got loneliness. Still have yet to see a single card with that icon. So it must just be a rare few cards that have that icon, or those two icons, but we'll just ignore that for now. Another work. Okay, I cannot afford any of these, so let's just keep on mining. Actually, well, we saw a whole bunch of those accidents, so I'm not sure there's any imminent accidents to worry about. Let's go ahead and mine and build up some of our cash reserves here so we can build something else. We've got work. Okay, now I can build the telescope, but this is good too, right? Now that I've got a nice apple stack, each time hunger happens, if you don't lose people, add 3 people. That's 5 total. That's pretty strong. So that'll cost me all 5 of my dollars, but I like that a lot. And when I research, I get 2 colonists. That's going to be very helpful here. But that was my last work action, I believe. Yes? There's trouble, which is a leak, which is losing 4 colonists. So we are in trouble already. This doesn't seem like it's going to really apply anymore because it's getting pretty bad. So we're going to get rid of that. I bring 8 people back, but 4 of them are getting leaked. So I'll just take the 4 back to the supply here. Automatic doors. There's my -5. That is a brutal robot, by the way. Not only losing 5 colonists at once, but of course, no buildings get triggered there for the next work. So yeah, I've got 1 left here. Flip this over, but there are no works left, I believe, so we should be fine with that, actually. I can spend a crate to farm, but I have no crates. That stinks. Add the next event is the airlock test, -5 colonists. So what am I going to do? My discount, this is so helpful, though. Let's get rid of this. So instead of getting 6 colonists recalled to my base, I'll just bring back the 1, okay? Boy, this is bad. Let's take a look here. I've got my work. Oh, there was another work. Okay, I was wrong. So I'm glad we were paying attention here. I don't get any building effects, but that stinks because I really wanted to research and get those 2 extra people on my base, but instead I can't build these. Let's just restock. We need to get this ready for the next round of accidents. So I'll put 2 crates there. I've got a few cards left here to resolve. You may lose a building putting it into your hand. I don't think I want to do that this time because I really need the buildings that I have out. So I'll ignore that. And I don't have the money to just keep replacing them. There's -5. Oh boy. Okay. So I never got to use my clone banks, but there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 colonists spent. I have 1 left on my board. Pass a card from your hand to the player to your left. I'm looking at the rules. There's no nuanced description about that, so I guess I'll just pass this to myself and carry on. Oh boy. All right, paperwork. Draw a card and get rid of 2 cards. So trading post I already said is not that great. I'm going to go ahead and get rid of that. And then I don't have any perks left anyway, so let's get rid of that. 1, 2. And the final card here is supplies. Okay, hey, I'll take it. And we'll shuffle and go into round 6. All right, folks, it's getting pretty dire here going into round 6. This is the round that Hannah and I almost always lose at, by the way. We've been playing this game a lot ever since I got it. And yeah, it's just such a great, quick game to play. Easy to pause if the baby needs something. It's easy to, because the turns are so fast. So anyway, this is dire times. We got 1 colonist left on the colony and 5 people working on the organ banks. And I have a bad feeling this is going to be about the end. So there's my shuffles. Good luck to us. And let's see what happens. We've got the glitch. Okay, that's not going to be helpful. Add a robot, -4 colonists, -2 apples. Well, okay, that means our organ banks are done and we lose all those supplies we had saved up. They are gone. So I lose 4 of those 5 colonists. That means 1 comes back and we lose 2 apples and we are, yeah, we're in desperate times here. Draw the next card, +2 apples. Okay, well, hunger is not going to do anything to us because we have no buildings. Work. All right, so what can we do here? Building this card would at least get me 4 more colonists out in the field, but it costs $7. So I guess I can just mine and try to get some money built up here But what are the odds that gets built before I get wiped out? Because I have 2, again, colonists left total. That's it. $2 more. Okay, hey. Well, I've got enough to build my telescope. Loneliness still doesn't apply. And work, okay, well, I'm gonna build. There's $7 exactly to build my telescope. And now when I research, I get 2 more cards, which for what it's worth, okay, mostly I just need those 4 colonists, of course. Trouble. Next event is -6, and that is gonna do it because that's 4 from my telescope. That's 2 from my board. The colony is devoid of people, and the game is over. So we made it to event 11, which means our score is actually 11, which is actually better than we've done in the past. And then I just wanted to see, there have to be buildings in here. Okay, so this is the icon we're looking for that loneliness card. So it looks like they're pretty few and far between, actually. So anyway, just so you know, they are in there when you're playing this game solo, but otherwise, we have made it to the 11th event and we are done. So there you have it. The moonquake took us out. And that was Moon Colony Bloodbath. Thank you again to Rio Grande Games for sending me such a fun, compelling, intriguing, exciting game for solo or otherwise. But with a score of 11, we're going to go ahead and send $55 to Baby to Baby. Again, this is a nonprofit organization founded in 2011 that provides diapers, formula, clothing, and other basic necessities for children living in poverty across the country. Over the last 14 years, Baby to Baby has distributed over 450 million essential items to children in homeless shelters, domestic violence programs, foster care, hospitals, and underserved school districts. So absolutely an amazing organization. Definitely one you should consider looking into and checking out if you are passionate about babies having the support and the necessary items that they need to thrive. So, you know, one that hits close to home these days. But anyway, yeah, Baby to Baby, definitely check them out. And that's it for today. Thank you so much for sticking around. By the way, if you're curious about this giant stack of games behind me, these are all games I need to review on the channel at some point. So I'm gonna slowly start chipping my way through this massive stack. So stay tuned for content about all of these amazing titles. But until then, if you want to see more solo playthroughs, you can check out this playlist right there. If you want to see my review of Donald Vaccarino's very first game ever, Dominion, you can check out this video right there, which is very old. And in the meantime, have a wonderful week. Take care and happy gaming. Bye.